Hello everyone, it's Jessica Michaels and I am back with another project for Spiegel Mom Scraps. You can save 15% with my code Jessica15 in the Spiegel Mom Scraps shop. And I'm doing something a little different today. I'm going to work on my Rolodex album. This is my 52 favorites album and I wanted to make a pumpkin shaped Rolodex card. So I did this a little bit differently and probably harder than I should have or could have. But I have a Cricut template. It's a Paige Evans cut file for my Rolodex cards, and I already had that on my computer, so I pulled that up in Cricut Design Space and I inserted a pumpkin over top of one of the other ones and then just welded it together and cut that out in white. And that's my template that I'm going off of for the pumpkin, but for some odd reason, I don't know if I resized the template by accident or what I did, but the Rolodex part at the bottom wasn't fitting into my little holder that you see in the top right of my screen right now. So what I ended up doing is I ended up using the pumpkin as a template, but then I used another one of my Rolodex cards that were already in there, and it's just a blank one that I used to line up for the bottom part of it so that I had the correct size and where the holes needed to be for the bottom part of this. So I'm kind of using two things and making this just way harder than I needed to, but it worked out in the end, and it's just kind of a little bit harder too because I was using it with clear acetate because my project today is actually making a shaker Rolodex card, or Memorydex. Sometimes people call them Memorydex to hold your memories in. So I am making this one clear. So I needed 2 clear sheets of this or 2 clear front and back pieces out of clear acetate sheets. So I'm cutting 2 of these to sandwich together, and I'm going to machine stitch with my sewing machine around the whole outside edges to hold all of those beautiful sequins in. I'm going to grab my fall cider mix, which is a new mix for the month of October. It is beautiful. I absolutely love it. And I did end up using the entire pack of it. So I am a little sad. So I have to reorder another pack of these because they're just so pretty. But there you can see where I'm lining this up with my other template, just making sure that the holes are going to work and everything's going to line up properly. And I'm just going to grab my X-Acto knife here by Olfa, and don't be scared. I wasn't cutting on my glass mat. I just wanted to kind of see how hard that was, or how hard it was going to be to cut through those layers, because I have both layers sandwiched there together. I'm cutting both of them at the same time. Figured it would just be easier that way. That way they would be perfectly lined up and stick together nicely. But all in all, I probably should have done them in separate layers because it probably would have been a little easier to trim these out with my X-Acto knife, just one layer at a time. But of course, I have to do everything the hard way, it seems. So that's just how I roll around here. So I'm going to go ahead and trim the rest of this out. I will speed this video up for you here in a second. I had to keep tightening my my blade on there because it was falling out for some reason. So I think I just need to get a new blade in there and it will be fine. And then here I'm just using a cloth. This is just a one of those cloths that you get from like eyeglasses or something like that. I like to use those on my clear acetate to wipe off any fingerprints. So I just wiped off the insides real quick just to make sure I didn't have any fingerprints or markings or dust or anything like that on there before I did my machine stitching here. This is a Brother Project Runway Edition sewing machine that I use. It sounds a lot fancier than what it is. Honestly, it's not super fancy. I got it from Walmart pretty cheap when they were running a deal on it, and I've had it for years. I had it serviced one time when I kind of messed up the tension and it got like all out of whack, and they did the whole machine for me for I think like $65. They cleaned it, they got all the gunk out of it, and they redid the tensions and got everything set back to where it should be. So that was like the best $65 I think I've ever spent on a sewing machine to just get it back in order. And granted, I've owned this sewing machine for probably like 10 years, so that was money well spent. So what I did here with my shaker pocket is I sewed most of the way around and I left an open space on the side so I could easily dump in those sequins. I ended up using the entire package of these, so I'm just dumping those in, and then I will close this up by finishing my stitching the rest of the way around, and then that'll get it all closed up so none of those beautiful sequins end up falling out. So I really, really love how it turned out. It turned out super cute. Just a little bit bummed, like I said, that I used the entire package of sequins on this, but no worries. They're still in stock in the shop, so I'm just going to order myself a couple more packs of those because they are so beautiful, and fall scrapping right now is so in, and it's, you know, trending, so everyone's scrapping their fall memories, and I want to scrap my fall memories using these sequins. So I need to make sure I order some more. So I have this, it's all stitched up, it's ready to go. This is what it looks like. I'm not so much worried about having a lot of movement in here because it's pretty much just going to get covered up with my photos in the middle of it. So I just wanted to have them in there and be able to have the effect that it's a shaker, and you can see it. There's my photos here. My photos are pretty small. I ended up doing, I printed them in wallet size, but they're squares, so I think they were like 2.5 inches. I think that's about what they are, 2.5 inches or something. Maybe a little bit bigger than that, but they're squares, so they ended up being pretty small, and I'm going to attach them right in the center of my Rolodex. And then here I'm just pulling out, I think this is the sticker book by Simple Stories Acorn Lane collection, or not Acorn Lane, Cider and Donuts, I think, is their new one. I think it's the new collection. So I'm just pulling out that sticker book, and I'm going to use a couple labels and a couple heart stickers. That's all I'm going to do with this little Rolodex card. I did not want to add a ton of stuff because I wanted the focus to be on those beautiful sequins and the fact that this is a shaker Memorydex card. So I really wanted that to be the focal point, other than my photos, of course. So my little Memorydex album here, or Rolodex, is a 52 favorites album for me. So I documented one favorite photo from each week of the year. So 52 weeks, 52 cards. They're front and back though, so not that many. And then I put them all in this beautiful little Memorydex. It's by, I think, Catalog Decks or something like that. I'll see if I can find them again. I got it on Etsy, and if I can find that link, I will make sure that I put that down below in the description for you because I love it. It's very, very well constructed. It looks like a cute little farmhousey drawer, and I just love the way it looks. It's perfect, and it is just put together so well. I absolutely adore it, and it looks so cute sitting on my shelf too. I like to display it even though it's not done, and it just kind of hangs out there on my shelf, and it looks like it's finished but it's really about, I think, about halfway finished at this point. So this is from 2023, so I'm actually not doing too bad. That 2023 from last year is about halfway done at this point, so I think that's pretty good. So here is my photo. I've got that label there with my Paige Evans roller date stamp. I'm going to go ahead and stamp the date for the other photo for the other side. I usually write the dates and the weeks on the backs of my photos so I don't forget, and that's what I'm doing here. I'm just putting the date stamp down on that little label, and I'm going to go ahead and mat the other photo with some smooth white cardstock as well. And then I'm going to pull out these little puffy alphas. I'm going to use these purple ones by Ellie's Studio. Really like the color of these. It's very fall. Purple's not a typical color of mine to scrap for fall, but I'm really loving the 49 and Market Art Options Spice collection. It has purple thrown in it, and I really, really love it. So I've been trying to incorporate that color scheme in other things as well. So I'm just going to put my week numbers on both sides of these to finish off that part, and that'll pretty much be done. Yeah, I'm not going to add too much. I'm going to grab some twine here in a second and add twine to the top because I felt like it really needed something at the top of the pumpkin so that you could also be able to tell that there was a little stem there. I wanted it to kind of look like a little vine hanging off of it, so I'll grab some twine here in a second, maybe a couple different kinds, and put them together. My adhesives here for adhering my photos, I actually used two different ones. I used my normal ATG Gun tape runner, but then I also reinforced with Nuvo glue as well, because being that that was clear acetate, I wanted to make sure that those were actually going to stick to it and not fall off, because sometimes if I use just the Nuvo glue, it does tend to fall off. So that's usually on like page protectors in my little memory album, my travel notebook album. I've noticed that the little round hole reinforcement paper pieces that I use are falling off, and I've used Nuvo glue on those. So somebody said to try glossy accents, so that's my next thing that I'm going to try on that. So I am just looking for a couple little heart stickers to finish these off. I'm just going to add one here. I'm going to flip it over and add one to my other side here. I didn't want to add too much because I didn't want to cover up too much of the photo, and of course I didn't want to cover up any more of the sequins inside. So that's pretty much going to do it for the embellishing. And then I'm just going to grab the twine here from my stash. This stuff is discontinued. It's actually from close to my heart, and they don't sell it anymore. And I love it. I wish I would have more, but it's from a long time ago. So if anybody knows anywhere that makes this twine that's kind of fringy like that, let me know in the comments, because I love it and I would love to have more colors just like it. So I'm just going to tie this in a bow up top and leave this hang out, and that's pretty much going to do it for this one. So here's what it looks like. This is the finished card, and it's ready to go into my little Memorydex keeper. I love that it's a shaker pocket, and it just turned out super sweet. It's actually going to go in the back because it's week 42 and 43, I think it was. So it'll go in the very back. So here's what they look like up close. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little project today. Have a great day. Bye-bye.